Oh, oh. I love my first words. That's beautiful. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're not going to open that model again. Bad dog. I guess my machine doesn't like Daz. It's like, how dare you?
It was morally offended.
Something. I don't know what it was. It's whatever it was. It's
There's something about the model. Like Henry said, that's you've thrown all kinds of models at that thing, and that's the first one that it's hard crashed you on. So
oh yeah, without a doubt. That's a new experience there. Okay. Okay.
round 3.
Right. Are you going to open my UI? Nope. Nope. All right. I almost did it again. Did you just see that? Okay. Why did my Z startup not work? Okay, document. New document. Doki doki.
Oh,
There we go. See, this isn't my interface.
no, it's not. So Thomas, if you get to watch the watch, you'll be sadly disappointed.
Hmm? What do you mean?
Oh, the BBC, the watch they made, it is so sad.
The watch? What are you talking about?
Terry Brooks, remember we were talking long ago
Oh,
about
right. Oh, right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been released. It's been released on BBC America, and it made me sad. I just sit there and watch it, indignant, just ah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just take it for what it is and giggle. It's fine.
Yeah, that's
See,
what I had to
this
do
isn't
by the
my
third one.
preferences. Configuration. Load UI. Okay. Okay. I guess that's my UI. Fine. The background is all wonky with that transition in it, but we'll deal with it.
There you go.
All right. So we're not going to open that model. And so I'm assuming that you have something that is it, so sorry, I can't see the chat. Was it an IMM? Was it an insert multi-mesh brush? And it had some, you like the brush, but it had something on it that you didn't like? Is that what we're talking about happening here?
That was the impression that I got, for sure.
Are they still around?
We will find out soon.
Or did they run away?
Could you blame them?
Yes, I can. And I will. Oh, no. Where is something that has IMM parts? Here we go. So this button, I believe, has different parts. So we'll drag that in, drag that in, drag that in, drag that in. Is there anything else that has parts? Parts? Anything with parts? Oh, there you go. Hinge has parts. And then there's another hinge that has parts. Okay. So now we dragged all of our little parts in here, right? And we look at it. And so you're like, if you just want to get rid of one of these things. So if it were an IMM brush, it probably has its poly group already broken out. So all you have to do is hold down Control Shift and tap and make sure that's the part you want to get rid of. Mask it off. And now, since these often the backside's a different thing, I just mask it first, come back in, tap that, mask it off. And now you can see that's the part you want to get rid of. Hold down tap, flip it. And now that you go hide part. And now it's gone. And then you just go delete hidden. And so let's say we want to get rid of these laces. Hold down Control Shift tap. And you can see all those laces are the same poly group. And if you only want to get rid of this one, you want to keep those, just mask off this, come back in, hold down Control, flip, hide part, delete hidden. Is that the question? I'm going to wait a second and see if someone responds to that one.
They said, thank you so much.
So that was the question? Right on.
And just FYI to the audience watching on YouTube, Restream bot has stopped working. So I will read questions from Twitch and from YouTube if anyone has them. I'm Henry Williams on Twitch and ZBrush Jewelry Workshop in YouTube. Same person. Cheers.
Yay. Sorry, I've obviously been having technical difficulties. So now what we need to do is load tool. There was one more tool in that group, wasn't there? Downloads, crypt files, Jefferson. Okay. Let's turn this off and let's look at what we got here. All right.
So I took their advice on what to do about the tubing and the shape,
Mm-hmm.
and try to have them somewhat interrelate with each other. This is where I'm at so far, and I was wondering if I think it's a little bit busy, and
Yeah, I think
should I tone some stuff down, or maybe change the shapes a little, or just
Well,
scrap it altogether?
yeah, I think you could definitely hold on, let's get
Higher subdivisions.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go up this. So I think that once again, I think you're a little busy. Only because, once again, in the reference images, almost all of this was piping. You know what I mean? And then you had like the small graphics, but for the most part it was like seam piping. And I think that this is getting I think it's just getting a little out of character too. Like, I think that, and now once again, you may be taking it into that direction, but I think that, like, this stuff seems a little ornate and flourishy as opposed to what the base is. And I know, like I said, I know this is a reworking, but let's duplicate this a little. And I am going to low res. Let me hide that and let's smooth some of this stuff out. And just look at what we got here. Now I think that this stuff down here is pretty good, right? It has that same sort of feeling of what's going on. Let's tune that back. All right. Now, we have the other thing. I don't have to worry about that. All right, so I'm going to turn symmetry off because I just want to do the one side and then we'll reproject the other side and kind of talk about the comparison.
What you could have done is use a morph target, just brush the other side back.
Oh yeah, I can just hit history and I can bring it right back. Like all I have to do is come back here, hold down control. Let's bring it back here, hold down control and tap that. Now that's my history state. And so when we come back here, I can just use my history brush and bring all this right back. And that gives me, a solid foundation, bringing that back. There are all kinds of ways of bringing it back. Boop. I love my history brush. It is awesome.
Yeah, I remember seeing your video during the summit
Mm-hmm.
when you were doing that ornate beetle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that blew my mind. I
Yeah,
had no
it's
idea.
it's so cool. It really is just cool. I really
Yeah, no, yeah. Coupled with Sculptures Pro is like
yeah.
so far the greatest thing I've added to ZBrush, in my opinion. At least with how messy I sculpted, it's just it's great.
Oh, I agree. It is absolutely awesome. You will not hear disagreement from me on that one. All right, come on, you. And what are we at? 6 million. That's fine. All right. So let's see. That's not, I want that one. Shoot. No, oh, I'm going this way. All right, fist mitt. And I'm just being quick here, right? I'm not. I'm just trying to look at some forms. Wrong direction. So let me turn symmetry off. Did I totally torque the? Doesn't matter. We have a history state. Okay, and then we have this. Focal shift all the way out, turns the intensity up. Is that giving me what? No, that's a little excitable there. No. Give me a square alpha. Much better. Okay. And then Okay. I'm just wondering about the swirls. All right. Are just like all of my brushes set wrong? What is going on here? None of my alphas are on? What is up? Bizarre.
Turvy.
Huh?
Everything's going topsy-turvy.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? It's just like, so I'm thinking that, so I'm just approaching this a little bit more in that layer concept and just trying to think of where my forms want to be. Right, so if you're thinking about a suit, right, now we'll come back in and we can give this edge that piping lip, right? But you can see that they're not flat, right? Now it is a separate layer. And yet again, we'll come here. And we're going to come there. And come there. But these are still different reflective planes. I think that's going to help clean up some of this so it doesn't just look sketchy. Break your planes up first.
Okay.
And then come back and think of decoration. So I understand these are like little pipings, but I think that if you kind of, once again, think about them as blocked layers, right? So that's a layer, and this is a layer. It's going to let you think about how these things are interacting a little differently. Right, so we're like, okay, so we have these, that's along with the hip. And like I said, we can come back in and give it this. Right, but it is a layer. It's not just the pinstriping. And if you come in and think about like these graphic sets as layers, I think it's going to let you kind of wrap your head around what's going on a little better. And it'll give it just a little bit more delineation as far as what's going on. I don't like, I'm just not seeing this Paisley stuff, you know, in what I remember of her. And if you want to bring it in, think about how you're bringing it in. Like, where is it and why is it, right? So we have these, you know, this is the bottom of the rib cage. Okay, so what is coming here that would make a flourish? Well, that's the bottom of the rib cage. So I would say, you know, keep that flourish within the range of what you've got going on. So if you're going to do flourishes or, you know, these very organic forms, I would do sort of the mechanical form first, right? This is the panel. This is my breakup. That line's coming there, so we'll bring that to there. It's coming down. That's sort of one thing. And boom. So now, if you want this to be a swirl, you know, stick with the form that you have and then kind of break it into what that form is. So it at least relates back to that initial block form in the layer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just so it's not just this random thing, you know, you have something that's going on and it has a reason to be there, I guess. Well, and now, you know, you have these in here, but
Yeah, those since the character that Katsu that isn't the regular costume for
Uh-huh.
the character. There's another costume that's more of a typical kimono type of deal,
mhm.
and there's graphics on there that have those leafy
Oh, okay.
stencils that you're seeing there. So I'm starting to mix it, trying to reference more from her actual costume that she's normally known for with this suit that
With
they
the
made
wetsuit
for.
thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have a picture of that anywhere?
yes, I do.
You want to throw that up there?
Of course.
You can just put it in Discord. Let me see what you got going. Twitch thing.
I'll put it in progress pieces just like last time.
Okay. Progress pieces.
Yeah, hold on. He doesn't want to paste. There we go. There's one.
Okay. Yeah, that is dramatically different. So it's more like moth wings or wing-eating things. Okay. All right, so different creature altogether. So actually, this shape isn't that bad. Let's, because you are blending the two. So let us come up here. That needs to be turned down. So that. Let's. Yeah, so much of it is just defining your vocabulary. So it has that kind of thing going on. Keep that in that teardrop shape. Gee, what, sort of that repeating double shape. Maybe. So here. So I'm just picking this motif, right? And this wing shape, and just bringing it in, just deciding on sort of referential forms. So I might have a dumb question here, guys. So I was watching the football game the other day, and they had a commercial, and it's this popular song, I guess, I don't know, da, 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 something like that. And then they were saying that the artist is named The Weeknd. Is that actually true? So it's like the artist formerly known as Prince and The Weeknd? Is that actually...
The Weeknd is the name of a band.
Oh, it's a band. It's not like an artist. Okay, good.
I don't think so.
Google check that for me. Because I'm just gonna say, if you name yourself The Weeknd, it's just a little.
Oh, it's a person.
It is a
Thanks,
person.
Life Stuff. Yeah, his name is The Weeknd.
What is wrong with people? That's just too.
What's wrong with that?
Who do I make the check out to? The Weeknd.
Okay.
Yeah, you know. All right. I'm just getting old. You confounded kids doing silly stuff. Name yourself The Weeknd. What's wrong with that? I don't know. I think there's a little separation of reality. Prince had some issues, you know. My friend was his the lighting designer at, what was it, the Purple Palace or whatever it was called. He was on call 24 hours a day, and yeah, you get called at all kinds of hours in the morning, so he'd come down and, you know, do lighting design on the stage. So he and his buddies could, but he was not allowed to look him in the eye, and he could not talk to him. He had to talk to his little business agent guy or whatever, his interpreter, I guess. Okay, so
That is ridiculous.
he couldn't say, oh, change light to 33%. He'd look at his buddy and go, change light to 33%. And then he would have to go, all right, change light to 33%. And, you know, it's not like you couldn't hear him. So he one day responded to Prince's one, he did it. He was like, change light to 33%. And he changed light, and he had an official warning. He almost got fired because he didn't wait for the second guy to say it, because he wasn't allowed to interact with Squiggledoo. I was like, okay, I get it, but you have some mental issues, dude. Yeah. 2 people got fired because they accidentally made eye contact with him. They were coming up around the stairs, and you look around a corner as you're walking up, but Prince was looking down, and since they made eye contact with him, he fired them. Celebrity is the devil.
We've got our own celebrity in here. Somebody recognizes Jeff the Chef
Yeah.
Really?
in the YouTube chat. His restream's not working, so you can't see it in Twitch.
It's probably a friend of mine. I asked. There's a friend of mine that I invited into the server. He's probably watching right now.
Well, reach out to your
Yeah.
fans, my friend.
You might just be famous.
You know, so here, instead of trying to force things into both shapes, I'm just taking that wing shape that has that, you know, it's like a little, almost like Ankh head without the head, you know, and just defining the form based on that shape. And I think that that might be an answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I see that you're being more uniform with your, like, you're just taking one little aspect of her costume and just applying it to the whole thing, whereas when I was doing it, I just took a bit of here, took a bit of there, and then
Yeah.
instead of them interacting, they're just separate islands.
Exactly. And that's the one thing about like just picking a design motif out of the, and it's something that if someone knows the character, they'll be like, oh, that's the wingy leafy pattern, right? And so not really changing the motif, but turning it into what the other things we're doing for it here, if that makes any sense. Right? Because, you know, if you look at her, it's not like they're really these swirlies, right? I mean, it's more like a moth wing pattern, right? It's not like ornate filigree. It just has this, you have the outside wing shape. And Henry, next week, make sure that I get sword soft,
Oh yeah. All right.
Sword.
because I can't draw, and we had plenty of time to do it today, and I just didn't.
Yep.
Well, you can use the snipping tool, and you can do a quick doodle over that.
Mm.
Wanting to learn something new on stream?
I know, right? It's like, what, guy? It's like, goodness gracious, you have a lot of faith in me here.
Well,
Well, now
I did
where's
not know of this, but I'm more used to the more uglier, more quick and dirty version of the snipping tool, but it appears Microsoft has
Oh no, this
tried
is
with
Snagit.
Microsoft.
This is Snagit. But
Oh.
now I don't. Where's the pen tool? Damn it. I know there's just a draw. They have all these. Pen. There we go. So, you know, you have this shape, right? And that is basically these shapes here, right? They're very reminiscent of each other. And then this shape is, get back there. That shape, oh, stop that, get over there. That shape, right? So the only return swirly do you have is actually right here. And it's very, right? It's literally just a circle and a straight line. So you can take this intersection right here, right? This one here, and then this shape. And I would say, okay, these are the shapes that I'm going to use in the next thing. So we have a shape that looks like, you know, where does it end? It's at that angle. Let me get over there. It's at that angle, and it comes over here and straight, and then it comes in like this, and then it's straight. So we have this identifiable form, and then we have this identifiable form, right? Those are two design motifs I'm going to pull out. So now we're going to come over here, and so now that I know there's that half circle-y thing, I could take, let's lower res here, and it's actually in a similar area. And so we could take this and you can turn this boop, into that shape. And I mean, you can put this anywhere. I'm just, you know, randomly picking forms here. But this way you're carrying over recognizable design motifs that are tied to the actual character. I don't like it facing that direction. Whoa. All of a sudden we got turbo. You know, maybe, yeah, here. Let's. You know, just find a place where you're using the forms that are there that, you know, just identify that hand. So this actually is more like a cut-in line than a standout line, but find that those 3 or 4 forms that are tied to the character that are recognizable as such. And find places where you can get those shapes in. And I'm not saying you need to do it on all of these places. I'm just trying to find, you know, forms that'll tie to that. Because really, this could be a nice place for that really good square. Because she has that just block border. And more than that. Like I said, I'm not necessarily saying these are the best areas. I'm just trying to find some forms that could tie into those shapes, you know. But I think you can simplify it, clean it up a little, and just try to find those moments that are going to tie in with your original character. Right, and so that could be a line that goes all the way through there. You know, just think about how these things are associating with one another as a total shape. And then think about them as layers as well, not just piping. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And because then you can, instead of it being so much chatter, you can then take like this recess piece here, and that's a place where you can use, like a texture. And now that texture could be a color transition, right? Or something in that vein. But I would say come in and decide on your big shapes first. Decide on that form. See how the big shapes work together. Here, I'm going to lower res again. And so we have that kind of doing that. So now that coming over like that. That doing that. Yeah. Mhm. And so by changing the rhythm of the surface to meet that sort of wing shape, it gives you opportunity, it gives you a different set of opportunities to see how these things interact. And then, like I said, this could be a place that you can bring that sort of, that shape kind of back into it. Mhm.
Wonder there
What's that?
when you're designing something and you're working on it for quite a while, and you get lost in it, how do you clear your head to make sure you don't quite veer off track from
So normally,
where you're going?
so normally I have the thing that I am working on, and then I have just an unrelated, completely different style object. So if I were working on this, I would have something that was like a car or something that's very mechanical, or a flower, or just something that has nothing to do with this model. And then every once in a while I just go and I'll spend 30 minutes sculpting on something completely different and trying to solve problems, right? Like just get my brain thinking about something different. And then when you come back in, you're like, oh, well, okay. So now I can sort of see that this is an issue, you know? So it's like just completely getting away from it and working on something radically different, at least intellectually radically different. You know, you're trying to solve different problems, and it'll allow you to come back in and you know, you just have to work on it for 35, 40 minutes just to get you out of your brain set. And, you know, I mean, that's not a great example, but you can see how just by thinking of the big picture, trying to get your forms, you know, in shape with what that is, picking a single design or two design motifs out of your base shape of the other character and using those as opposed to just trying to make stuff up, because it is a character, especially if you're doing, you know, fan art in the sense of you're doing your version of something. You know, there are things that identify those characters, right? You know, it's the ears. Well, you know, there are a lot of anime characters that have big foxy ears, you know. So what is it? What are the things that define this character? And once you find those essential elements, and I assure you they're there. If it's a well-designed character, they have to be there. And then try to replicate those forms in a different way, but use the vocabulary of the character. Right? That's why I kept going, oh, well, it needs to be plain, because all I saw was the very simple wetsuit with the piping.
Yeah, I forgot to elaborate further on what exactly I was working with.
Yeah.
Because, to be honest, I was up front, and I did show you, I guess, mostly what I was really working with, because the other image was just a side reference. It wasn't my main reference.
Right, no. But it actually has a lot more character elements than the wetsuit does. You know what I mean? It's like there's this distinctive vocabulary that I would never have known, you know. So I think that's where I would kind of start with it, if that makes any sense.
I understand.
Yeah. No, but you're getting there. It's coming.
Cool.
Awesome sauce. All right. Have any other questions?
Trying to think of one.
Delete.
Yeah, I can't think of any.
Right on. Well, you know, you can ask in Discord.
If something comes up, I'll let you know.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, thank you very much, Thomas. It's always a pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you here. All right, what do we got here? Henry.
I think it's just me next.
All right, it's just you. Just Henry.
I'm dead.
Okay, so did you already do this? Oh, you did. Oh, look at you, sneaky, putting stones inside of things. So standard bead set with your little cullets pointing down. And then you have your exterior form. Nope, that's the exterior form. There we go. Nope, that's the full part, isn't it? Where's is that just the outside? No.
Yeah, it's just those three down there at the bottom. So one is the stones, one's the interior, one's
there,
the exterior.
Okay. Yeah. I was just like, I always had one of the two bottoms on, and I'm like, why isn't this working? Okay, so let's see how you have this. So you just have this flush intersecting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, bad dog.
Yeah, and I would probably key that. I just did a Boolean intersection with the mandrel.
Sure. Remember that it's easy to do the Boolean intersection with the mandrel. You just take, where's our mandrel? Is it in here?
I don't think I gave you the mandrel.
Okay, that's okay. Here, simple enough. Append. Like, is my star gone? This guy's getting rid of my star. It's starting to stress me out. W, turn it into a cylinder. Boop. Get a little bit more geometry in there. Turn this on so I can see what's going on. There should be at least a center line. A little transparency so I can see what's going on here. Okay, we have a center line. So I am actually going to add 2 more. Come on. No, one more. There we go. Okay. And so now we're going to turn this guy on. We are going to turn symmetry on. We are going to go to ZModeler and push slide. Come on. Slide. And I'm going to bring that in. Nope, we need to make that slide on the x-axis. Is it not? My face is on the wrong axis. There we go. Why are you not working? Okay. Because I'm on the wrong axis. See my head? Look, this is on z-axis, and that says I'm on the z-axis. That's on the...
I can't see the top of your screen, so I don't know what you have that stuff set to.
Okay. Well, you can't see the top of my screen.
No, I probably should have mentioned that hours ago. But it'd be a whole OBS ordeal, so...
Oh my god, there are big side things there. Okay. All right. I definitely need to get the test channel so we can make sure. Okay, edge loop complete. And then I'm just going to slide this into where I want my step to be. Right? And so we're going to come there, or where I want my key to be. And then we are going to come here, and we are going to go QMesh polyloop. Where's polyloop? And I'm just going to bring that in, drag it down to what I want my key to be. Right? So now I just have that little step. And so, actually, we're just going to do this. Insert. Boop. And we'll just put it right there. Now we are going to go delete polyloop. Come here, go boop. No. Boop. There we go. And now we're going to go auto group. One of these days. Auto group. Group split. Okie dokie. And I'm just going to take this one. That's annoying. All right. Delete. Then we're going to take that one. We're going to go delete. And then we're going to come right here. And we're going to go to dynamic. Turn smooth to 0. Turn thickness to as thin as it'll go. Boop. There we go. And now we're going to drag this guy back up here, because this is your solid piece, right? One of these is the one that doesn't have the
Yeah, the lower folder is
chopped.
decimated. No, they're all chopped. You just have high res chopped and decimated chopped.
Okay, well, I'm going to join them back together. What is going on? No. Don't, no. No. I don't know what you're doing. Stop. All right, hold on. Okay, so we're going to take you and duplicate you. And we're going to take you, and duplicate you. And I'm going to take you, merge down. All right. Down. There we go. Take you and W. Oh, just we can Dynamesh from here. Dynamesh. Okay, so now we're back to our solid. Oh. One day we'll be back to our solid. Gotta take the top off that before I drink. All right, so now you have your solid again. So now we can bring this guy on. And we're going to turn you on. Well, that's weird. That is not the right size. And you have your step. And you have the point where you want to cut it. And now, new folder. Always label your folders, it's really important.
One of us here does that consistently.
Look, you did label your folders. Damn it, Jim. All right, turn transparency off. And let's bring it down just a little bit more. All right, boop. And we now go. Boot. Wait, oh, make sure. Yep. Boolean folder. Boop. There were warnings. Yep. Why did it? That's not a solid. Why did you chop as a solid? And there's no step. What is that about? Okay, let's try that again.
You've managed to amputate my prongs.
Oh, you have prongs in there too. Oh, fine. I forgot about the prongs. Okay. So we have our low groover. We'll make it bigger. That should save your prongs. And we're gonna, where's our step there? We're gonna just bring that step right there. That's a little thin. I don't think you're gonna see the step because that's so thin. All right, we'll give it a shot. So let's make sure that this is a solid object. Turn X off, Dynamesh again. Okay. Boolean negative. Hold on, let's do live Boolean and see if this cuts the whole inside off again. No. Okay, so see, it should just be our little center there. Okay. I'm not seeing a crack there, are you? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. So it's there, it's there, it's there. Live Boolean tells us that we're not going to be doing that again. So we go boop, Boolean folder. It's going to do it again, isn't it? You mama fibber flabber fubber. That's weird. That's weird. But, all right. But you can see that you've made a key there, right?
Right. The question I have, though, since the inner ring also has that same key, how would you slip the cage over top of it now?
Well, it doesn't have the same key. It's the opposite key. Oh.
Yeah, it has to go all the way through.
Oh, yeah. Aren't you clever?
So I figured a key would be horizontal sort of through it.
It would be a step instead.
Yeah, yeah.
No, you're right.
Or one side could be keyed the way you have it, but not both sides.
Right. Yeah, no, good point. So actually, yeah, I would probably... Good point, good point, good point. Yeah, you'd have to do it that way, where it just becomes a slice going through the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You could key it, you know, just like one little area.
Yeah, with just a little notch, but really rotation doesn't matter. It's the alignment to the two edges that matters. So really, your technique there would help a lot.
Which
you just do it to one side.
Just do it to one side, exactly.
Yeah. And then it slips through the
Then
other
it
side.
just slides in.
Catches on that edge.
Yeah, that's exactly how you do it. You just do it on one side.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Yeah. I'm like, I know this works. Like, I've done this before. It's weird that it's bullying it out. That's funny that it's leaving us that half. That's super bizarre. I do not know why. I do not know why. Well, the other thing, like the other way to do this, if you ever have this, is you can just use this side as a cutter on the other one if that comes down to it. But if you keep having this problem, I would just do that. But yeah, no, that's exactly what you do, is you just do it to one side. Why is Boolean being weird? Because when we live Booleaned it, right, it just showed the line. The inside didn't disappear. So let's try that. See, now I'm curious. Now I'm all curious. So we have our solid. We are no longer in a untitled folder. We got start there. This is in order. Let's take you and delete you. Delete. Okay. Boom. Live Boolean. We have our line. Frame. Right, you see it there? I wonder if it's just too thin. If it's, well, you're getting the whole cut off the other side. Take you, turn you off for a second. We are going to undo, 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 undo. There we go. Let us go to boop, boop. Dynamic thickness. We were at 0.001. Let's go to 0.005. Look at how thick that is. So thick. Apply. Turn you back on. What happened? Wait, now you're just gone. What happened? Okay, now it's just gone. Okay, never mind. It's going to be one of those days. Look, it's just gone. It's disappeared. I don't even have answers for that one. All right. But I would say on this one, I would make this outside wall thicker.
Yeah.
Right. Up
Yep.
to here, make that thicker. And I would probably come back in. Come on. And
Yeah, I want to round off all those on the inside.
yeah. Also, just give them a little bit more thickness.
Yep.
And give it a spine. Right? Give it a thickness in the center. Sort of like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what that is going to do is it's going to act as a strong point. So if someone taps this, these things don't just collapse.
That was my biggest concern, since it's sort of an eternity ring, that that really fragile
Yeah.
thing all the way around.
So
My choices.
I would thicken up this side. Right. And then thicken these up.
Mm-hmm.
And give them some thickness here.
Yeah.
And, you know, those can come pretty far down, you know. You can get a lot of thickness out of that.
Yeah, the stones aren't anywhere close to it.
Yeah. And then just get it back up in here. Give it a ridge. And then get those in there thicker. And, you know, they'll appear super thin.
Yep.
But you'll have a little bit more substance to them. And it just reads like it has a little bit more substance there, right? See, these are pretty anemic, where these kind of have a design and they're interesting.
Yeah.
Sure. So I would definitely thicken this stuff up. Just so, once again, yeah, you know, this ring isn't going to last 10 years. If this ring lasts a year, I'll be pretty surprised.
That's fine. I'll just sell 10 times as many of them.
There you go. I could be wrong. Depending on how thick you can get this. You know, well, that's actually over 1 mil, I bet. What do we have there?
It felt fairly thick once because I have a version of it that does have all those plumped up on the inside. I just didn't have it ready in time to submit.
Yeah. No, it's all good. No, stop. I don't want all of them. Radial. Right, so what do we have here thickness wise? Let's get rid of some of this. Boop. Get rid of some of this. Boop. Okay, so WY. Get over here. Let's turn double on so it'll actually stick to the inside. you got that. It's 0.9, so that's less than a mil. I mean, it's almost at a mil, but I'd get it about a mil thick. And
Cool.
at the thinnest part there at the peak. But I'd get it thicker as you go down.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to see how well that holds up in real life.
Yeah, I think that getting some thickness and some support on that interior rib line. Right? Stop it. That'll give you room to key. And yeah, there. And see, it just looks like it has a little bit more substance there. And then with that thickness there, you know, if you want, you can actually now, you know, play with that ridge where you have a sort of crease in there or something where you now have room to have a back reflection as well as a front line, whatever that is, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, you could kick that up if you're looking for something to be very, very thin, or if you want it to feel very, very thin, you know, you can push that back up now. And you have all the weight there. And now that'll read. See how much thinner that reads?
Yep.
So
yeah, as long as there is a physical space there so you could see the stones underneath. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Make it deep, you know, straight back.
Yeah.
Because like now, you can see I've made that almost flat across. That's now a pretty stable form. You know. What's your rotation? 64. I'll tell you, I found that really on an average size ring, you know, on a 9 or because if you get down in 5s, you know, that's a different world altogether. But I found that 25 to 30 is actually the best repetition range.
Okay.
Just because it's big enough to see something, right? You know, these at their thickest are still right at a millimeter. You know what I mean? If you think about this is going to be a tiny little cage, you know. So I would say probably try it at like 35 to 40. And it may look, especially since you're looking at this form, it's going to look like these huge gaps.
Yeah.
And if you measure them, it's going to be like 1.5 mil, you know? You're like, oh. So
I tried it first with 32 and it just looked like too much white space.
Yeah. Did you measure that space though?
I didn't measure that space. And honestly, if you pull up that the inner ring again, there is a fairly substantial gap between the two rows of stones that I'd like to add some texture to, or a design or something like that. So maybe with the bigger gaps, after adding that design and texture, it won't look so empty.
Yes. Because
I think it's the first one in the folder, yeah.
Because what are these? Like 1 point?
They're
1.5?
either 1.5 or 2. I think they're 1.5s.
Yep, they're 1.5s. And you know, that's a tiny stone. You know, I mean, that's pretty darn small. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to get bigger stones in there, but it meant I had to make that inner ring thicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the culets want to.
Yeah, of course. Which is one of my favorite things. I love. I made a ring. I made a ring for a slave, and the stone stuck about 1.5 mil off the ring on the inside. It was real similar. I mean, not quite this many. They were bigger stones, but it was like might have been 35 stones, 40 stones, something like that. But the collets were in about 2 mil, and that thing was just like a cheese grater. You get it on once, you work it on. That thing ain't coming off. I was like, that's priceless. Ooh. The BDSM community, you make some really good jewelry. All right. So, how we doing? Anybody have anything else, or do we just start sculpting and chatting?
Let me check the folder.
Q&A
Yeah,
in?
that's it.
All right.
Folder. So Q&A. If anyone has any questions, I don't think Tomas can see chat, but I will read them out.
I can't. Sorry, guys. It's been a
in
mess.
YouTube or Twitch.
Let's see what we have here. I did bring this. You can play with good old Janice. Ooh. This is the problem with finding STLs, is that they just become horrible models. I definitely want to. This was a good ring. Dun, 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 dun. Come on. So this was one of the, actually, this is the very first ring that I had printed and produced. And it was super funny because, you know, I was a sculptor. I wasn't really a jeweler. And there were a couple of things that I designed of this ring that were really funny. Like, first of all, the mouths were open. But this was based on a real skull. And so the teeth then in turn were actual teeth scale, which means they were meant to cut meat. And you go like this and you could scoop meat out with the ring. It was pretty awesome. And then I didn't have this band in there. So it kind of flippy flopped and your finger came up here and pinched. But my absolute favorite thing that I did that was totally whack was this was not connected to the head. Right? This was up here floating. So there was nowhere to bend the prong to set the prong. There was no tension point to set the prong. I was killing it.
A lot. Hey, was it this past summit you made a video about using history states to resize rings?
Did I actually make a video for that for the summit? I know I did it for the classes, but did we show that on the summit?
I thought you did. I remember. I know you did 2 videos for Summit. One of them was about Sculptors Pro to retain detail.
It
I
wasn't
thought the other one was history states.
Well, it was History States and Sculptures Pro and the bug. And then I assume the other one was the silhouettes was just the multi-mesh that I did from,
Oh, Eternity Rings.
yeah, I think that's what it was.
You're absolutely right. That's what it was.
Sorry.
I know you have a video.
Well, I did it, well, I know that I did it for class.
Yeah, I thought you had a public version of it. I might have just lied to Life with Steph.
Yeah, I don't know that there is a public version yet. I know that we're working on it. Like Eric and I are working on one right now. But I think that may have been in the class stuff. I don't know if I actually put that out there.
Okay.
I've demoed it on stream though, haven't I?
You have definitely demoed it on stream before. I remember that.
Yeah, so it's in one of the 150 videos.
At best, you're going to go through like 200 hours of footage to find the 20 minutes where he does that thing. You could do it. You could find it.
Or I could just redo it. But that would imply that it'll work. You know, I'm not willing to try it today. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not going to work today. It's so funny. It's so persnickety. Or maybe I'm just silly.
I think you just accidentally hit the wrong button at
Every
one
time.
particular step every single time. And it makes it look persnickety.
Yeah, you really have to do it in a very specific order. And I tend to never remember it because I don't do it enough to remember it. And I'm like, okay, so you have to push this one first and then this one.
But like worst case scenario, so Life with Steph's question was, how do you resize a ring that has a stone in it that can't change? Like that stone setting has to be the same. Worst case scenario, you mask off that stone setting and scale the rest of the ring, and then resculpt whatever detail is changes.
Yeah, because like in so here's the thing about the sizing technique is that it's really only useful if you're going to do all the sizes, right? And I would suggest doing it because then you don't necessarily have to produce all the sizes, but it allows you to, you make the smallest size you're going to do and then the largest size you're going to do, and it does all the in-betweens. So you have to sculpt two different versions. Now, if you're only doing it once, well, you still have to sculpt two different versions. So it's not really helping you if you're just doing it once. But the thing is, if you're going from size 6 to size 13, or if you're actually doing a size 6, you're probably not going to go bigger than a 10 or a 12, but say 12, okay? So if you're going to do size 6 to 12, and you're trying to do an 8, well, if you're going to do that, I would just take the couple hours and just do all your sizes. And now you have that ring and all the different sizes. So if someone comes up and goes, hey, I need another size, then you're not stuck. You don't have to do it again. So in that sense, I would just go ahead and make, especially if you're planning on making jewelry, like if you're selling it, I would say that it's probably the best idea. All right, I'll try. So let's get our ring sizes out. Oh, you are kidding me. I don't have those tools downloaded. Okay, Dropbox. Boop. Boop. Where is it? Assets and library parts. My jewelry tools. Rings by size. Download.
How is this not in your tools folder?
Remember, I just installed all this the other day.
I know.
This wasn't priority to get. So if I go here and I just download that. Library. Here, I'll just download it all. Download. I do that and now my computer runs out of memory. Look at that, it's 1.3 gigabytes. That's gonna kill me. I only have 80 gigabytes free.
Goodness.
That's not the bluegrass way. Just saying. What is up with that? Users, public documents, ZBrush data, quick saves. Yeah, it's my students, and there's 70 million poly models when we quick save. Okay, there's nothing we need in the quick save, is there? Hold on, let me double check this before I throw away more things I need. Here's quick save.
I don't think you've used this computer to
No, I haven't.
make anything. It's all been crits.
Yeah, so we can get rid of all those. And that'll at least give us some. Wait, where'd it go? Delete all. Boop. And now let's see what we have. Now I have less. How does that work? Can you answer that one for me?
Why, if you delete stuff? Oh, you have even. Oh, empty your trash can.
Oh yeah. I forget that it goes to trash. Why isn't it letting me delete it? There it is. Empty trash bin. I sure do. Well, there we go. Look, ooh, that's something. Oh, goodness gracious. That's really depressing. Okay. That's even more depressing. I can't sketch on anything. Wah. All right. Did this download? I need 2 folders. Boom, boom. See, I need to get all these onto a different folder or a different drive, right? Is that the plan? What am I doing here? Z tools. My back is still tore up. Okay. Let me do this too. Get that crap out of there. You can go away. You can go back to Twitch stream. All right. You go away. What are you? You can go away. You can come up here. We go to Z tools. Boop. Tools. Majority. Rings by size. So we will go from a size 6. Did that come over? No. Size 6. Right, there we go. To, let's say, a size 10. All right, fine. We'll do a size 11. All right. So you've picked both the sizes that you're looking for, okay? So this is the ring mandrel for a size 11. This is the ring mandrel for a size 6. We're going to come over here. We're going to make a new guy. We're going to append the size 6. We're going to append the size. Hold on. Append our size 11. So those are our 2 ring sizes. We're going to delete them. Okay. We're now going to bring our ring in. Append. Das Ring. W. Y. I'm going to rotate. Oop, that's not the ring. I'm going to rotate you around and get you center of the world. Transparency, that's what I'm looking for. All right. I'm just going to cheese it here a little bit. We're just going to make that. Let's hide our size 11. That is our size 6 ring. That's not center at all. All right, that's going to be close enough spit on. And now I'm just going to hide this stuff. I'm going to take you, flip you, come back to you. I'm going to use project brush. And I'm just going to suck this up to my surface. Holy henna. What do we project? Oh, do we have a history state in something? We do. No, I got rid of that model, didn't I? What is that? History stating to. Okay, fine. We won't do that way. We'll just project. I'm like, all right, you want to be a turd about it. Project. Henry,
Yes.
see, this is already going off the rails.
I looked away for 2 seconds and you made a mess.
I know. I was just trying to make it easy. All right. So now that's attached to the ring. Our ring is the right size. I know there's some oddities here, but we're not really going for the design. I'm trying to show you how this works. Okay. So you have your ring, and it is sitting at your size 6. Okay. Actually, you know what we're going to do with this? We're going to clean this up before we even try this, because that's going to just be a disaster. Let's just ZRemesh. Let's try ZRemesh 5000. Because this mesh is probably an absolute disaster.
Yeah, and certainly decimated for 3D printing.
Oh yeah. I just want a nice, clean, low poly mesh here. It'll make it easier.
We'll see what the projection does to those teeth.
Hmm?
We'll see what the projection does to those teeth.
Yeah, especially since they're all separate.
Yep.
What jerk designed this? Good guy. Doesn't he know that's a dumb way of designing things? Actually, I should have closed those teeth and Dynamesh this before I did this. So for all of you, this ring was designed well before I have developed a lot of the do's and don'ts. This was the first big ring of, oh. Oh my goodness. If anyone has any questions, please ask them. If anyone has any models they want us to look at, please upload them. Is she even still here to see this? Have I already lost her?
I believe it's a he and no.
Oh, I thought you said it was a she.
On at this point, but they are in the Discord, and I can point them to this video afterward.
Oh, that's really sad. Couldn't even hold out. Okay, I'm gonna abort that. I'm going to inflate this some, just so this is a much cleaner mesh.
Can you explain why you flip normals on that mandrel?
Yeah, so when you project, okay, when you project, it is looking for the negative normal. So it is going to project a positive normal to a negative normal. So, because projection, the thought was, okay, well, we have these things and I'm going to project it up to the details of the other piece. But if you're trying to use something where, let's say you want this to be a pinhole and you want that pinhole to be that size, this outside surface is looking for negative normals. So often you'll do, if you try it sometimes and your projection, you'll just see like a couple little pokes. It doesn't project anything. It's because it's actually looking for the negative normals and you're trying to project to the outside of the object that you're doing. So by flipping it, right? By flipping it, oh no, we're here. Sorry. Here, let me show you here. So we're going to go like this. Come on, you. Why are you doing that to me? Go here. Let's turn this on. No, I want the bigger one. Turn transparency off. Project all. And let's see what happens. You see that. Oh. Try this again. Turn you on. Project all. And now let's hide this. And you see that the things that were inside the model, that stuff projected out, right? But if it was on this outside, you could see that it didn't drag it back down to the surface, right? Right, this didn't go to, none of this stuff came to the front. And that's because it was looking to the inside. Oh, let's see what it did here at the mouth, right? Now, if we go here, and you can see that the normals are flipped, project all, and now it's going to take everything that's on the inside and drag it out. Let me inflate this, and let's take this and flip it, project all, let me remove that other project, let me back this off. Let's go all the way back so you can see what happens here. Come on, you. There we go. Okay, so transparency. Right, we have all that we have all this stuff on the inside of the ring. And we go project all. And you can see all we got was this little area right here, right? And that was pulling it from the outside, right? It didn't know what to do. It's confused. It has no idea. It's like, okay, well, what am I trying to drag where? I don't really grasp it. But if we flip this, If we flip this, come to here, and now we project all. See how it took the stuff from the inside and pulled it up? So it's all about normals. It's about a positive. So think about it as it was designed for this being a negative normal and this being a positive normal. So as it's doing this stuff, these surfaces are looking out here for a negative normal. And if it's within the projection range, it's going to attach itself to that negative normal. So if you're like this, though, these are all looking out here for negative normals, and they're not there. Only right around here you're going to find it, and it's just going to move that little itty-bitty bit. So by flipping what you're projecting to... So if you have a model that's rough and you're trying to project it to another model, you don't flip it because your model's on the inside and it's going to try to get to the normal. If you're trying to use it as like a peg or like a hinge and you have the thing and you're trying to get it to suck up to that machine shape, then you want to flip the model. If you're trying to use the Boolean, or if you're trying to use it kind of as a cutter where you're trying to get a hole in there or something like that, you have to flip it or it won't. It doesn't look for the right area, I guess.
Right. And if you just Boolean, which would essentially accomplish the same thing,
Yep.
you're going to lose all your subdivisions.
Yes, that's the big difference. If you Boolean, you lose subdivisions. And, that might not be a big deal to you, but big deal to me. All right, let's inflate all this closed. Oh. There's a really important tool that I forgot to do, backface masking. Close all my toofuses. It's still a little bulbous, but whatever. I don't care. I'm just trying to get a solid model here. I'm going to close these. I have symmetry turned on. That's my problem. Turn backface masking off. We're going to slap you. I'm going to slap you. I'm just simplifying this model a little. Actually, you know what? This is silly.
Only in the heads off.
Huh?
Or just make a new ring from scratch.
Right. No, that's what I said. I was like, what am I doing? This is a nightmare. This is a silly thing to do. Okay.
This is already a difficult process. Let's not make it worse.
I know. I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, what am I doing here? Okay. Everybody's just like, what the hell is wrong with it? I guess I say that a lot anyway, so I can't really.
Only new people are thinking that. The rest of us already know.
We know what's wrong with that ding dong. All right. So let us ZModeler. Polygroup, polyloop. Nope. Come on, you. Zoom in so you actually see what you're doing. All right. Duplicate. Delete hidden. QMesh. All polys. Look at that. We have a size 6 ring. Okay. So now we are going to go XW. Turn symmetry off. Center of the world. Are we center? Look at me go. I actually picked the right group. That's crazy, isn't it? All right. Cute. Turn symmetry on. Look at that. We have a gem. Hmm. Look at that. It's a jam on a ring.
Oh man.
You gotta admit, that's pretty darn sexy.
Cass, sell it.
I can make a lot of money off that. Don't kid yourself. That's a killer. This is the killer app. Isn't that what they call them? The killer app? All right. Size 6 with the size stone you want. Magical. So, we now have a size 11. Nope, that's a size 6. Oh, I duplicated it. So, we now have our size 11. So we're like, okay, I have to make this a size 11. So what are we going to do? We're going to take this, we're going to duplicate it. And we're going to turn on our size 11 mandrel. And I will, now, for this, you could just move it out. Remember, this is a highly sculpted object. That's hard to do this too. So we're going to take our, our object, we're going to bring it up. And I'm going to move this to the inside. Hold on, let's hide you. So this is my mandrel, right? This is a size 11. I'm going to bring this up, and I'm just going to get this roughly where this little bit right here touches the ring. So I know that's my starting size. And now we're going to mask this area off because we don't want it to change. Sorry, my sinuses are going. And I'm going to take this, turn symmetry off. I'm going to come here. I'm going to drag this down. I'm going to drag this out. And now I'm going to take my circular mask and I'm going to come in here. And because now I know that ring size is at 11, I'm going to come here, mask that off. I'm going to come to the center of the world, and I'm just going to bring this ring size back down to the same thickness. Right? So now we have a size 11 with the same size stone. Now, normally you have to go back in and sculpt this and make it look right and blah, blah, blah. But that's not what we're dealing with here. We're just dealing with the technique of how do we scale these things. So now we have a size 11 and a size 6. So we come back to our size 6. And here we go. Henry, aren't you ready for this one?
That's me, and I believe I am ready, though I
Okay.
could be proven wrong.
So we now come down here and we go to layers. I know I'm going to do this and it's not going to work and I'm just going to really laugh. We're going to add a layer. Record is on. Now you can't do two different tools, right? And once again with this, you're just like, well, this is just shapes. But if this is all sculpted, trust me, this is a pain in the butt. So you come in and we're going to do the exact same thing because we're recording, right? So it's going to record what we're doing. I'm going to bring this up to where it's the same size. I'm now going to mask that. Oh, ooh. Wow, that was exciting. Hold on. Let's go back to our rectangle. No, not mask lasso. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
And this is where it goes downhill.
Right. All right, so We come in and we mask that off. We do the exact same thing. We bring this down to where it is touching that surface. I stretch this down to be the inside surface. I now come here. We go to the center, turn center, go to the center, and I stretch this out until it is touching that seam. You can see that we're now all even with our seam, or our interior surface. And now we're going to take our radial masking, bring it out, or our circular mask, bring it out. Just drag it so you hit those inside edges. And now you bring this back down to where they're the same size. You can see there's still things that are outside the area. And you have to push these around. Like if there's a lot of sculpted surface here, often you need to kind of just push it so it's sitting in the right area, and you know, you need to get it to be right. And now we come here, we turn that off, and we project all. So now this is projecting to the surface of the ring that we re-sculpted to be the size 11. So we're here, we got it, we re-sculpted it, we have it now as a size 11. Here it goes. We now turn record off. Okay, so now I should be able to hit this eyeball, and those are the two different sizes. Okay, we have our two different sizes. Now I come down here and go to the smaller size, I'm pretty sure. And now we turn on our timeline. Show. In our smaller size, we place a point right here on our timeline. Boop. Nope, where'd you go? Boop. There we go. So this is the first state that we're looking at. And we went to size 6 to size 11. So 6, 7, 8, 9. You notice I'm going on the big marks. I'm leaving the half sizes. So full size 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're going to put our second dot there and now turn that on. And so now when we slide this, nope, I did it wrong. Okay, so do you have to start the other direction? Turn it there. See, this is what I do every time. Okay. Okay, let's get back to where we had record. No. Okay, there's record. So we come back. We're still recording. Other direction. Okay, so we're there. Do we do this one first? Boop. Turn that off. Go boop. And now does it change skin? There you go. Okay. So you stop record, you hit a point, and then you turn the eyeball back on, and that's your smaller size, and that's your second point. So, stop that. There we go. So now you have your smallest size on the reference point and the larger size on the reference point. And what's nice is that ring sizing scales, right? So if you come like this and you go, stop it, and you go, boom, you see it's getting bigger. So that is a 6.5. That is a 7. That is a 7.5. That is an 8. That is an 8.5. That is a 9. 9.5. 10. 10 and a half, 11. And then you just save each one out as a different model. What's really cool about this is you can see it's not stretching, right? You can make your base model and then you resculpt your second model. And so like Matrix, all Matrix does is stretches it out. And this, what you're doing is you're sculpting one, you're sculpting another, and then it's in betweening. And so you can do some really interesting transitional forms, and it will transition within the in-betweens. So there we go. That's how you do it.
I'm so proud of you. I tell you what, you did such a good job. Life with Steph came back. They turned off Apex Legends to watch you do that.
That's tragic. Did that actually answer the question?
Yeah, I asked them if it made sense, and they said yes.
Okay, good. So, but remember that each one of these divisions is right, but you have to, the separation is the separation of sizes between the rings you actually have, right? Because if you just bring a size in and you're like, oh, well, that's size 1. No. You have to set the scale that it's working on. But, you know, it's pretty cool because you can see the head doesn't change size, but everything else does. So it's a really useful tool. So you have to do the bigger side first. I think that's where I blow it every time. I demo this all the time, and I never get it right. Ever.
Can't say that anymore. You can say you get it right 1% of the time.
I get it 1%. That's why Eric's making this video. Oh, wow. Look at that. I need a space mouse. Damn it, Jim. All right. Does anyone have any other questions? Because it being 12:30, I'll probably just go to 1 since we didn't have a ton of critiques.
I do have a question. Yes. And this is an interesting one to me. How do you make hard surfaces for enamel on spherical objects?
Well, I mean, honestly, you know, you can enamel in anything, right? I would just use a Boolean is how I would do it. I would decide what my cup is. And you also probably want to leave a little dimple on the underside just to give it some trapping. I know that, you know, when you're doing wire and stuff, I guess there are people who come back and do an engraving edge in there. So as you fill in the enamel, there's a little cup on the bottom. But here, let's say we're going to do here. And if you want this to be an enamel shape, right? Let's stop it. Oh, hold on, we have to turn layers off. Big all. And I'm going to do this. And do this and hold down control, and that gives me that. Oop. Pull that off and get it to be the right size. Okay, auto group. Split the group. Split group, split. Boop. Okie dokie. So now we have. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. So this is our shape. So I know that this is the exact curve of the ring. So when I come in here and QMesh all polygons and drag this down and in, flip. There we go. Control W. Let those come here. And so that's our penetration. That's the thickness we want our thing to be at. Normally, I will take, where are you? Z modeler. Stop it. Stop it. I'm going to come in here and put like this little lip right here. I am then going to come around and I am going to Q mesh. Whoa, what happened there? Q mesh a poly loop. And I'm going to make this a little lip, just a touch, right? And now I am going to come here and I am going to crease edge loop complete, and I'm going to crease this edge. Boop. And, you know, you can crease these edges and stuff too if you need to. But I really want to just make sure that that bottom lip is definitely creased. Hold on, let me turn this off so I can see what my creasings are. Let's just do that one too. That way we have sharp edges there. And we'll crease that one. Okay. Because I want this to slough off. So now if we divide, you can see that I have like just that little lip area. And now I'm going to come right here. And I am going to Boolean this out. So we'll go here, new folder. It's really important that you label your folders. I'm going to take that in, and that is our cutter. Boop. We're going to make this start. We're going to make this cut. And now I'm going to go Boolean fold. No, transparency has to be turned off. That has to be turned off. Transparency has to be turned off. And now Boolean folder. Boom. And so now you're here. And now you have flat, sharp surfaces. Now, if you need those to be softer, do it. But you have that little lip under there, and I find that that's really helpful because it keeps, especially on curved surfaces, it keeps that glass in. Is that what you were looking for?
I certainly assume so. Let's see how they respond.
Man.
Sorry. I try to mute my type so you people don't talk about it.
Just, ouch.
So you're ready for the next question. We'll see how they respond, and if that didn't answer it, we can pop back to it. But can you show a real quick bypass ring?
Sure. Dun, 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 dun.
I can yammer on about 2-point radial symmetry all I want, but
Boom.
you see it.
Yeah, hold on, what am I doing? I'm always just trying to make things easy, and I never make them easy, do I? It's just like, just start from scratch, just do it. All right, so we have our little ring here. Gonna grab this. Boop. Yep, let's duplicate this. Delete hidden. Boop. Q mesh. All polys. There's a ring. Go to our top. Let's turn on symmetry just so. Yeah, see, I knew something was going wrong there. Just in my heart, I felt that was going wrong. No. Single poly. Boop. I just love when it does weird stuff like that. Okay. Delete hidden. So you start off with your ring. Right? So we're going to divide this up. Don't need that much. Stop it. Stop it. See, I get tap happy and I get up to like 35 million in a heartbeat. There. Okay. Timeline we can turn off. Okay. So you have your ring. And you can choose to make this gap not that big, but I'm just making a bypass ring. So we're going to take y-axis, turn on R, make radial count 2. We're going to grab move elastic. We're going to make it rather big. And we are going to choose our bypass. Boop. And, you know, move it in, make it whatever you want it to be. Now you do have to come back in because that was a straight move, right? You have your mandrel. Oop. Wrong mandrel. Show part. There we go. Come in. Move this to wherever you need it to be. Get your ring kind of back on the surface. Sculpt away. And there is your bypass. And I mean, you can obviously, you know, make this any shape you want. And what's nice is, you know, you have your radial symmetry on, so you can just come back in, and anything you do to it is going to be in radial symmetry, and in turn bypass geometry. That's so large. That doesn't need to be 51. So is that the question you had? I mean, does that answer the question, or were you talking about a specific style?
Let's see. For the bypass. Oh yeah. So now that you have the top of the ring sort of moved around, how do you get it back into shape with the mandrel? How do you get it back to the right size on top?
Well, I just pull it up, but then, right, you can see that this is obviously going below that surface, and you know, that geometry is a little mangled, so I'm just going to drag it down. And I'm just dragging that geometry inside the ring. And then, sorry, the weather's changing here. My allergies are just like on fire. So we've gone through, we've done our sculpting, we got this guy going. And like here, you can see that I'm just getting it to where that intersection is right. That's all I'm caring about. Right, we have our shape. We love it, it's great. Look at that. It's just so cool. With some millions of them. So, if you get it to the point where you're done, right? I'm not going to do anything else to this ring. I'm happy with it. And I'm about to decimate it, right? You know, I'm about to prep this for print. Then I don't need my subdivision levels. So what I would do is I would duplicate this. I would then come in here and make a folder. Where's our mandrel? Nope, that's not the right name. It's this mandrel. Drag it down here. New folder. Always label your folders. It's really important. Come back in here. Make that start. Make that cutter. And as you can see, that is now going to cut that off. We're going to turn live boolean off so we can see what's going on. Boop. Boolean folder. One day. Boop. And there you go. Now your part, let's flip this, there we go. Now your ring is at the appropriate ring size. And I would come back in with trim dynamic and make sure to knock this edge off. Really sharp edges on the inside of rings really sucks. So don't, and I know all these CAD models have really sharp edges. They're just really uncomfortable. And the whole thing is you're trying to make comfortable rings. And honestly, you should have had symmetry turned back on. 2. And then that way it's radially symmetrical. Sculptris Pro that, because these are two really dramatically different geometries, right? So this is where Sculptris Pro is really helpful. Boom, come back in, knock off my edges. Right. Does that make sense? Close holes. Jaja.
Indeed.
Alrighty. Anything else?
So we had a second part to the enamel question.
Okay.
They use Art Nouveau forms as enamel on spherical objects. I mean Art Nouveau patterns, spherical objects for enamel. I'm not 100% sure.
Are you talking about Pleek?
Clic du jour.
Is that what you're talking about? Like how to, hold on. Let's go to the pros. Oh, damn it. I really need to keep so confused. Okay. Where? So not only am I trying to do my mouse on that screen, I'm trying to pull a window off of that mouse. So I see my mouse moving on the screen before I've switched it. So I can't tell if it's my mouse or my mouse. Yeah, that's really, really bizarro. Okay, so let's go to Lalik. Images. No, that's not Lalik. Oh my God, I'm losing it. I can't even type. Okay. So, are you talking about this? Stop it. Love happens. Away. So is this what you're talking about? Or?
Yes, they said yes.
Okay, so this is called Plique du jour. And what they do, there aren't a lot of people who do this right anymore. And a lot of that has to do with the glass pigments. I guess that a lot of what they used as glass pigments are nasty and will kill you. Have lead in them and stuff. So what you do is, let's say we want to do that with this surface. Okay. So, well, here, we'll just do it this way. Divide. So we have a nice clean surface. So, and how they do it is they lay wire out, but you can do it this way. And you come in and you do your silhouette. And we're just going to do some random selling. Now, the other thing is you would probably use much thinner wire than I'm doing right now. And, you know, this is like 2 millimeters thick. That's absurd for what we're doing here. But I'm going to show you the technique. All right, and so we have wire, 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 wire. you'd spend a lot more time making this lovely than I am. But you have these cells, and then you have these walls, right? Precision extract. We want it to be, let's say 2 mil. Enter, update max thickness, create precision extract. Whoa. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're going, let's say we'll do, boy. Update max thickness. Create precision extract. You can do it. You can do it. No, don't be silly. Come on, you did so well the first time. Why are you being like that? Oh, you make me so angry.
While we're waiting, what camera and mic are you using right now?
So this is the Audio Technica.
AT2020?
Yeah. And then I just have this one is just the Logitech, what is it, the 920 or something like that?
Oh, I think that's the same one I have.
Yeah, it's their general. Oh, you are kidding me. It did it the first time. Why would it choke out on the second time? No, you're just going to be a pain in the butt. 1 second. We'll get there, I promise. Sorry. But at home, I have a different setup. Okay. Oh my God. It's going to be like that. Delete. Okay. I'm going to delete you. Okay. We're going to do this again. We're going to go here. I'm going to make this tiny. And we're just going to do a few cells here. Did that answer the question?
Did it?
Okay. So you have cells. Update max thickness. Extract. Okay, that's fine. So you wind up with this frame. And it's all curvy. And you don't really have this part. Ignore that part. That doesn't exist. Sculptures Pro. Shh. Okay, that's gone. So what they do is they come in and they take a paintbrush and they take a glass with a thickener in it, and they come in and they paint the cells in. And so you take it and you kind of, no, I don't want Sculptures Pro mode. Stop it. And so they come in, and I'm just going to use that. And they'll paint it in, and they'll paint this edge in, and they'll kind of do this. And you'll paint it in to where its surface tension won't drip. Okay, so you do one little layer. Let me divide this up. You do one little layer, and then you bake it in the oven, and the glass fuses. And then you come in and you fill this much in, and then it fuses. And then you come in and you do that much in, and then it fuses. You come in, you paint the next round in, it fuses, you come in until you can get the whole thing closed. Now this is tricky. And if you look at this, right, where was that one that we just looked at? Right here. Yeah, this one. So you can actually see it here, right? This is actually a really good example of showing you. Look at how far up it is on the thickness of the wire, and then it gets thin towards the end here, right? So it's fluid dynamics, right? You're just putting enough on the outside edge so you have a fusing point, and then you paint a little bit more and you put it, and you have a fusing point, and then it just keeps fusing and fusing and fusing, and you fill it up, and normally it's 2 to 3 times. Now, let me find one that has good color change. And really, there are very few people on the planet that did pleat better than Lalique. I mean, his shop was like apex pleat. Because a lot of pleat is very not subtle. They do it in really wacky, just it looks really flat and horrible. But where are those flowers? Those are the ones that have these beautiful here, let's do this. I don't want anyone saying that. That's not how it's spelled. Right, see, this is simple. You can see that's okay. But when it's done right, you can use different colors. Each time you go in, you can paint a different color. And so you have these beautiful color transitions. Come on. Plic azure. Come on. Really? That's the zoomed in picture? Thanks. You can see that this is, well, you can see they did it here. Hold on, let's, why do you keep telling me we have a zoom in when we don't have a zoom in? That's annoying. So you can see here the green to yellow, and then here the white to pink, the brownish yellow. So what they've done is they put the darker tone in, and you can see up here it's around the edges here. So they brush that on and let it flush in, or melt in, and then they put brighter colors each time they did it. So this is probably 1, 2, 3 burns. So the thing that's wacky about this, you got to do all of this and then cook the whole thing. So it's really an arduous process to do right and to do well. And it's, yeah. If you want a career, learn how to do pleat and do it right. Because there are so few people on the planet who even do it anymore in any real way. We now have like color it and stuff you cure with UV, and that's much easier because you just put it in, you cure each one. You don't have to put it in the oven and get everything right. Let's see. Let me see if they just. All right, I don't want to hear you. All right, we don't want to see the cut in. I just want to show you the. All right, they're filing. Isn't that lovely? So see, they're mixing the glass powder with now they're grinding theirs into there's like an adhesive. It thickens. And that, come on. Yeah, right. Goodness gracious. And you can see they're just painting in the edges. And it doesn't go all the way through, right? It's whatever that cell can take fluid dynamically. And then they bake it in. You throw it in the oven and the glass melts. Now it looks like they're... See how they're going to the edge and then they sort of scrape it off and it seeps in? It looks like they're going to be able to... Yeah, they got all that in one cook. They really made that thick. And you can see they're just getting single cell colors, where to do the stuff like Lalique, you're doing multiples. You're leaving that cell open, cooking it, coming back in, putting the next layer in, cooking it, putting the next layer in, and cooking it. Yeah, it's just pure, absolute, and utter crazy talk. That just looks like a peridot meteorite. You can get one of them there from space.
I have one.
Do you?
Yeah, my wedding ring is meteorite.
But does it have the peridot in it?
No, I'm guessing not.
Was there a big green glassy thing in it?
Written down somewhere, I have what meteorite it's from. But
That's cool. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, see. I love these pieces. They're so cool. There's one meteorite that landed in, I think he found it in Colorado or something like that. And these are really green. These are pretty yellow. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's wild looking.
I love it. You have a couple pieces of meteorite. Yeah, it's just cool. Problem with that is it's so fragile. You tap it and those just fall out. I mean, they're not necessarily cut in. They're cool. I like it. I like anything that comes from space.
So,
I'm a space geek.
question.
Okay, space geek.
And I think there's more to this question than I can interpret.
Okay.
But in general, this person has a model of a bull,
All right.
and they need to get hair on the bull.
Mm-hmm.
Be shown how.
Well, so, where's Zizu?
It's up in tools.
Oh, there it is. Zizu. Do we have something that's bullish? There we go. Adaptive preview. Let's smooth that out.
Yeah, this is the hard part about RestreamBot not working. They want to upload the model, which obviously, I mean, it's Critnite, and that would be amazing. But they're on YouTube, and I can't post links to YouTube. So I have absolutely no way of getting them the Crit link.
Well, you can just, it's short. It's just TSW.
Put it up on your screen for a second. Here, I'll paste it into Twitch.
Sure.
And you put it up on your screen.
Or post it on, not Twitch. Post it on
Discord.
Discord.
I will put it in general. General room. There you go.
Where's general?
Up, scroll up in your left
I
side.
don't even know where that is.
That's just scrolling.
Isn't that general?
That's general chat. There's general.
Isn't that what you? said general.
I'm visually behind you in
Oh.
time. So yeah, you're in the right place.
So the link is just http:// and then it's ZBrush.sh/TSW. Or is that backslash? Is that a forward
I'd
slash?
say slash, and you can figure out if it's back or front.
Right, slash. I don't know. It's that way.
It's that internet slash.
Yeah, you know that slash. It's the internet slash. So that's the link. And with the lag, they can tell us if they got it. Oh, I see. You didn't like my bowl.
I feel like there's more to this question, and having the model will help.
Yeah,
but
no,
we're-
without a question. Their model would be
in-
great. While they're loading that model, I'm going to
Mhm.
bend over. My back's killing me. Give me a sec.
Okay.
Oh. What the hell? There. Let's do that. Okay. I've regained some mobility in my back.
Congratulations.
I know, right?
If people wanted to submit an FBX file, is that acceptable or STL-OBJ only?
I don't even. An FBX, isn't that like a toolpath file?
I mean, I think it's like a Maya, like it has bones and stuff.
What? Hold on. Import. Oh, look. Import's gone again. Garr. One sec. Can we import FBXs?
No, I don't have ZBrush open.
Let me check. I don't even know where import is anymore. Where's import? Did I lose import? Is like import just completely gone? What the hell? Okay, I'm completely losing my mind. Where's import?
Scroll up on that left bar.
Huh?
All the way up. Scroll all the way up.
Oh, okay. That one.
There you go.
Does it say it? Yeah, there's FBX. We can give it a shot. I mean, it says it'll import it.
Yeah, all right. Cool. In the meantime, the bowl model is in Dropbox.
Okay. Oh. I'm assuming it's Alexi.
I'm also assuming that.
Come on. Now what's going on? Okay, it's there. is it not showing up there? Am I just like completely insane? Oh no. 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 Okay. Now, okay, we'll just double click it here. Okay. So we have your bowl. Now, when you say, do you want hair on it? Are you talking about using like hair in the hair brush, or how would you sculpt hair on it? And what's the usage here? Is this like a, what are those things called? Little weights? GG. You're gonna have,
It's like a dumbbell,
yeah, like a, what, kettlebell? Is that what they're called?
kettlebell. That's it. Amicable. We don't know how to add beautiful hair and cry for all the staff. I'm using Google Translate, so probably none of that was right. But they definitely want to add hair.
Okay. Now, the question is, do you want realistic hair? I mean, because, you know, it's not... Because, really, I would just sculpt it on and... stop it. Everybody stop. Symmetry off. You know, because really, bull hair around the head is pretty short. Let's look at bulls. Bull head. No. I want a bull head. Right, you see there's not a... Bulls don't really have a lot of hair. I mean, you get little tufts up here. Is that what we're talking about? I mean, something in this vein where you have... Why? You know, are you talking about something in this vein?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah. So, let's actually look at our bowl here. Alright, so it's little tufts and short down the snout. Well, this guy's pretty hairy. So I would tend, so we have our nose, let's make this smaller. Sorry, I'm changing your color. Get our bull nose.
They are saying yes, yes, so you are on the right track.
Okay. All right, first of all, you need a lot more geometry. Okay. And so let me go back and look at that little groover. What do we have going on here? Where'd my other bull picture go? Okay. So the first thing, I would just kind of get the rhythm that you want going. And that literally just starts out with figuring out how big you want your little plats to be. And I would start with symmetry just because you're covering more ground at this point. That becomes another sort of plat set, and it looks like that kind of goes off and becomes plat set. And so then you just get the rhythm of the hair you want. Right, you know, does it have hairy brows? Get him shorter with the shorter hair. And since this is going to be cast, you need to have it where, you know, you got to think about it being cast. So you kind of have your rhythm. Now I'm going to use clay buildup pretty quick to just kind of get the masses in. Yeah, it's sort of, there's like a little recess there. We're gonna and I'm just kind of getting directionality and flow. Your stroke length is the hair length, so if the hair gets shorter, do shorter strokes, right? And now you kind of have your rhythm set up, right? Now you come in and really tune. This is when you take symmetry off. And remember that you're doing things in layers, right? So we're going to start on this layer because it's behind that layer. And we're just going to come in and you're going to decide. I tend to do it stylized first. Right, I'm going to, okay, I want that, and just do it in plats, right? Where you're getting the big chunks of hair first and determine what's happening there. And since this one's on top of that one, you now come in and you put that there. And right, get your rhythm and your form. These are probably going to be thicker in the middle, so you change them up. And I'm going to use SK cloth just because it has gravity to it. And I'm getting those in. I'm going to fill these in. SK clay fill. Get my clay tubes up. And now I'm just going to do the same thing in smaller sets. Turn this up a little more. And just decide what's happening. That's going under, that's coming over, that's going under. Under, over, under. Kind of get the feel of where you're going with it. And bring the ones that are on top up. Over. So now you have a rough feel for where things are going. Now I'll bring SK Twist in. And you can, let's get it. I want it to be a little bigger than that. Yeah, okay. SK Twist. Separate my plats a little. Get my layers separated again. Right. And then you just come in and you can be as detailed as you want, right? You can come in and really just get this small. But I will almost always do this with SK Twist instead of using line tools, because this allows me to come in and set different layers, right? You know, because you're going in one direction, it's twisting in that direction, and you can get, you know, that's a lower plat, obviously. And you can come in and just get as detailed or as basic as you want. I mean, that's probably how I'd approach it. If that, you know, because this will read better sculpted if you have things that are separated. Now, with the twist, you can smooth these transitions in a little, and, you know, you can have this come out. So it's not, you know, you can have these things blend in and out, right? So it's not just a straight. You can have these cut back and in, and where these edges become a little bit more subtle. So there's some carryover between the two layers. But that just comes down to like what you want that stylized hair to look like. But I would probably approach it like that, where you lay it in, you get the flow that you want, you come back in, define the next set of layers, then come in and put the hair in. Because like with Slash, you can get this stuff like up in here. You can make it where you get the separation in. You can use the cut tools because you do want separation. But, you know, it just depends on how, you know, how you want it to work. But I think that's probably how I'd go about it. Did that help or answer that? Does that make sense?
Makes sense. And they haven't said anything else.
I mean, I think that.
Oh, while you've got that model up, how deep would you go for 3D printing to be cast with those details?
How big's the part? You know, I mean, It, it completely depends on how big the part is and stuff. I would tend to, if you're using layers, you don't need to go that deep. If you're drawing lines in, I mean, is it silver? Are you using, is it going to be oxidized? Is it not oxidized? If it's not oxidized, I wouldn't cut lines in. I would just use SK Twist so you have definitive layers, because the layers will reflect better than lines cut in. Right. But just make sure that your layers make sense, right? Like this isn't going to be on top of that because things are laying over the surface. And yeah, once again, how big is this? If it's this big, then yeah, you could do 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter deep lines. If it's an 8 millimeter part, you're not going to do that. Wrong direction. Like I'd be more worried about the layer than the depth of the line. Right. If you want these to be curlier, you just add more depth. I'm just doing a flat, quick block out, because the one bull has sort of that rolling curl fur. So, in that way, you'd probably want to build up your lines like this, and then you're selling that curve on the outside edge of that. For hair, you can be pretty dramatic. Just make sure that the lines are, if you're going to cut lines in, just make sure the lines are deeper in the intersections and then get lighter as they come out here. Because, you can have deep folds of separation up here, but you don't want that at the tips. So just make sure you're using the line depth cut to give you, that you're telling the story, that something is going over and under. Because if you get lines too deep, it just becomes chatter, right? You lose your depth stories. If that makes sense.
Yep. Okay. Turns out after about 12:30, questions just start rolling in.
Well, it's funny that I think that a different part of the world wakes up and starts it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. So I have a next question. It is here on my screen. I'm definitely not searching for it right now. I know exactly what it is. Can you show us how to make half a sphere in ZSphere? Is that a thing?
I don't know that to be a thing. Like, you mean like where you have a flat end? Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I mean, I would just do it and cut it off if I needed it to be flat. In ZModeler or ZSphere?
They said ZSphere.
Yeah, I don't.
That does seem a strange concept, though, since Z-spheres are just meant to be sort of a base for like a bone structure.
Yeah, I don't know that you can do that. I'm not saying you can't. All right, I just don't use Z-spheres enough to know it. But normally, I would just, if I needed a flat surface, I would just use the Z-sphere as a block up. Well, hold on, let's look at ZZoo and see if there are any in here that have flats. I imagine, well, here, hooves. Let's see what they got for. It's looking pretty flat. See, I'm wondering if, see, I don't think that's actually, because
No, Deadpool is telling me it is not a thing.
yeah, no, see, that's a separate part.
But I trust Deadpool.
Yeah, I think that like something like that, you're just making a separate part and they're just booling, because this is post. Yeah, see, that's not acting as a. Yeah, I don't know that you can do that.
Okay, just make a normal sphere and make it flat on one side.
Me?
Yep.
I thought we just decided that we can't do that.
No, a normal sphere. You can make a.
Oh. It's like, didn't we just discuss this? Well, if you're looking, if you're looking for a sphere that has a flat thing, the easiest way is to go into the gizmo things. Come here, you have a 3D sphere, and this actually has a tool where you can just make it flat anywhere along that curve. Is that what you're talking about?
Snap! Look at that.
Woo.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep, it's a really useful thing.
Well,
And also within Gizmo, there's also a thing called flatten, and that'll take anything and you can flatten it. Yeah. Let's go back to our donkey.
yeah.
Right? W. Oh, this is still an active Z sphere. It won't let me bring up Gizmo. If you made that a skin, you could do it.
Okay, so how do you set stones on a domed surface, or that sphere we just had? They said bezel and prong. That's going to be quite a long tutorial.
Well, here, I'll show you how I do it.
I suppose since you're at the Z modeler stage already, prongs are pretty easy.
Well, I would do it separately, honestly. So divide, you got your sphere. But that's why I've made brushes. What I would do is I'd come in here and I have pre-made brushes. And, oh, what is this gray? What is this gray? I come in and you can, boop. All right, see, I get all snazzy there and it's not. Huh, I might have to remake these brushes. Interesting. What? Oh.
That brush still works for me.
It's multiple subdivisions. So, whoa, ear, where'd that come from? There you go. And so I made brushes as such. You do have to come back in and set the depth. Is that curve no longer active? Should just tap the curve and it change. That's weird. That's not the same brush. I thought I just changed the depth on that. There you go. Now, obviously, this brush isn't set up to do curves like that, but and this is also a double prong. This isn't sharing a prong. I have one that shares a prong, but I would do it like as such, right? Now I do have ones that have all the parts in them. Is it this one? Nope. All right, so if I were actually setting as opposed to making, so these are what I consider rendering brushes, okay, because they have the stones in them. Because if you're actually making the part, the stones aren't what you need. You need this. And what this is this is a cutter and the prongs. And I have these where all these are in one thing, but the easiest way is to go about, you build this. Hold on, we need to turn on curve. Stroke, curve mode. Okay, so now we change our depth settings. There we go. It worked on that one. Kind of. Why is that piling up like that? Okay. That is super weird. Oh, my step is off. See, curve step should be 1. What's that about? You won't go away. Stroke 1. Okay. Look at how those are all spaced oddly. These brushes were made like in R7, so it might be something's going on with the brush. But here, let's just do the turn curve off. Weird. And I'll just do this, and we'll hide these guys. Okay, we'll just do this guy. Fine. Delete hidden. Let's get rid of these guys. Hide part. Delete hidden. And now I'm going to look at you. Delete hidden. There is something. No, I guess hide part. Fine. You were right. Delete hidden. Okay. Now where's our sphere? I deleted it. Here, let's do this real quick. Auto group. Mask. Flip. Control W. My prongs are separate guys. W. Let's tap on U. Realign. Send to the center of the universe. Frame. So this is my seat cutter. Append. And we are going to make you a sphere. Nope. Sphere. Give it some geometry. Turn that off. Let's make you bigger. And so pretend my curve was working right. So as you drag it along, it hits. And then you just need to get the depth where that line right there is just below the surface, right? And that gives you your seed. And so now all you do is you put this up here, new folder, label your folders, it's really important, group split, okie dokie, where's my sphere? Okay, am I just completely crazy again? Oh, it just wasn't going up there, fine. Bring this in. Make that start. Make that cut. Make that additive. And now live Boolean. So here's the thing to remember when you're doing this as well. Order is very important. If your prongs are in front of your cutter will cut your prongs. See? So that does us no good, right? Because you just removed the setting meat. So you go and drag these below the cutter and just tap it again, and you can see that it leaves the meat there. So now after we made the cutter with the prongs, we have a Boolean. Now these are actually rendering prongs because these are very short. These actually should be longer. Nope. Nope. Come on, you. Right, setting prongs should be longer. This just happens to be, these are acting as if they were already set, so this is a set for rendering, not manufacturing. But so now what you have is it's added your prongs and it's cut the seat. And so this way, if you're using your curve, sorry my brushes are just squirrely right now, I apologize. But if you are, come on. Right? If you set it up, like I said, these are not a shared prong, but if you set it up, you lay it out on the curve, it creates a seat, you then use the cutter, it cuts your seat, and you have your prongs. So that's, and for bezel, you just create a bezel around your stone in a different part and the cutter, and you now have, like, to make this a bezel cutter, or to make one that has bezel as well, okay, undo. So those are your setting prongs. So all we would do is come here, and I would let's turn everybody off except for you. Masking. I would just mask this off, and then whatever you wanted that to be, let's say 0.5 millimeter, update max thickness 0.5. All right, max thickness 0.3. All right, fine, whatever. Update max thickness, create precision extraction. Oh, holy Hannah, this is really small. Okay, that's not what we wanted to do. If that is 0.5 millimeter, we're definitely in a world of weirdness. So we're going to undo that. Well, here, let's just delete that. And what is this? No, escape. That's not what I wanted. Update size ratio. It is 0.6 millimeter. Okay, so this is going to be maybe tricky to show you since this is so small. I would do this. Let's go to extract, and I'll just give it a really tiny number. Extract, And we are going to make this really, really tiny. There we go. Extract. Is there a reason you're not extracting? No, that's not what I'm looking for. Extract. Extract. Okay, there we go. So let's make it a little thicker than that. Too much. Okay, let's say that's the size of bezel you want. Accept. Boom. So now you have your bezel that's set up in the same set, right? So you come here. You turn this guy on, and you just turn these on as you're going to use them, right? So we're going to turn our bezel off first. We're going to do this, and we're going to look at our live boolean, make sure this is what we want. It is not. That is not start. Go here, unmask. That is a cutter, and that is additive. That's additive. So there's our first one. We go boolean folder, and that gives us our part with our thing. And now we turn this off, and we turn this on, turn this off, and do the same thing, boolean folder. And now you have your bezel and your seat. And if you get the curves right, and obviously that's an insanely thin bezel, but blah, blah, blah. And that way you can do everything at once. You just get everything in their same groups. You shift the group. You can change between prongs, cutters, and stones. And you go at it. Did that answer that question?
Sure seems to have.
All right. Are there more questions?
We have one more question, and then we do have that FBX model from Sina.
Okay, we'll see what we can open. Okay, so what's the question?
The question is, how do you extrude from an alpha?
You just push extract or extract precision. So let's say that's your alpha. I mean, I can load. Do you know how to put an alpha on? Or do you need me to do that as well? I was just going. There's your alpha. And once again, this is super small. So you can do extract, and it'll give you the extraction. You hit accept, right? And now you have the extraction from the alpha. Or you can come over here to precision extract, and you can say, I want that to be, 0.5 millimeter, and it'll extract it out as a millimeter. The detail that you can get, because you might go, but look, that's all furry and it doesn't work. That has a lot to do with the resolution of the mesh. So if we come back over here and we divide this a few more times, and now let me grab an alpha. Here, this one has little slashes. I want that to be standard. Where's standard? Standard. I have brushes over here.
Is the process any different if the alpha is from a file?
No, here, I'm going to do it with an alpha. Just so we have our, I tend to like standard brush with this stuff. Use the drag stroke, and here's this. We drag it on. That, why is... What the hell? Okay, let's go to stroke, turn off curve mode. No, that's a brush. Hold on, alpha. I'm having a mind fart. How do I get just the alpha to drag on? No. I can take off the add. There we go. Is that going to do it for me? No? I know I can just drag on alphas. How am I doing it? What am I not thinking about? Oh, my poor brain. Sorry, guys. I'm having a brain fart on this one.
It's 2 a.m. Nobody blames you.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm not wrapping my head around how to drag an alpha out on something. You can do it. I guess we can go to Spotlight. If our texture on, let's grab, no, where's just, why is this so hard all of a sudden? Transform? Is that my, no. Stencil, is it stencil? Wow, I am completely, absolutely and utterly losing it. All right, someone help me. How do I drag an alpha? Oh, an alpha. Alpha. There's alpha. And I should just be...
I'm seeing the alpha onto your mask brush. Hold control.
Mask. Yeah, thank you. Boom. There's my alpha. Hold on that. No. Okay. Goodness gracious. Sorry, guys. Drag. Okay, so we're dragging on our alpha. Now, as you notice, it's kind of blurry. So a lot of this has to do with the resolution of your brush and your focal shift. Make your focal shift on your mask. Goodness gracious. Mask, make your focal shift. And once again, this is kind of blurry because these are round, right? You know, this isn't a sharp thing. Come in, hit extract, and you, once again, you can do extract. We just have a small model. Extract doesn't really work. Extract, boom. And you can see that that was so blurry, you get that. So you can come into alpha and change. See, this is a crap alpha actually to do this. Alpha. There's a place where you can. This is just becoming insanely frustrating. I apologize, it's 2 a.m. My brain's not working super well. There's a place where you can make your alpha sharp. Well, you can just do it this way, I guess. Do this. Come over here and tap on. Nope. Tap on. That was making it softer. Shift control. There we go. So, do your alpha. Hold down Control and Alt. Tap it, it makes your edges sharper. So now when you extract, you get sharper edges. Right, boom, extract. And now you just hit accept, boom, and now you have that. A lot of this also has to do with my scale is so small. I deal with real world scale, and so if you're dealing with a smaller model, and lower res, you're actually getting furrier edges. Scale is important. So did that answer that eventually? Jesus. Sorry about that. Holy Hannah. My poor brain.
I think so.
Goodness gracious.
I think it got answered.
All right, so now I got to go to Dropbox. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Yes, that did answer the question.
Gosh, that was brutal. I just completely brain farted on that. I'm like, I don't even know how to do that anymore. It's only been 16 years. Oh my God, that was really embarrassing. Can they edit that part out? Where we just did the answer.
They can, but they won't.
Just where we just did that little part at the end where it actually answered the question. Oh my God. Okay. FBX. Where's download? Oh, it's here. No.
Now, importing this is less fun than you're used to, but it's not too bad.
Uh-oh. We're all in.
I did some tests.
We're all in
while
trouble now.
you
Is that
answered.
what I'm hearing? So you're gonna give me a walkthrough?
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, we downloaded that. So I can't just double click on this and it's gonna upload. All right. So we need to go to import.
Mm-hmm.
Boop.
Now, when that import box shows up, make sure to deselect everything in the window.
Deselect what? I'm not even in. Don't it?
Once you've clicked your file.
Okay, so I've clicked my file. And now hit open.
Yeah.
Import.
My visual is pretty far behind your voice, so
Okay. So import.
yeah. Uncheck import cameras.
Matt says polygroups.
Nope, don't touch anything else. Leave it
Okay.
all unchecked. And click OK. And it's going to start importing, and then it's going to say, hey, I need this materials file, and you're going to click cancel.
Cancel.
And it's going to ask you, hey, I need this material file, and you're going to click cancel. And then you know what it's going to say?
Hey, I need this.
And you're going to click cancel. And it's going to do that like a dozen times.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey. No. Holy Hannah. All right, so now what did you want me to look at this? Now this is a CAD file, right? What did this come out of?
That is a good question. So they want to know how to create a realistic looking space. They want to know what mistakes they've made.
Oh. Well, first of all, not many. I mean, you know, this isn't looking bad at all. Hold on. Oh, boom. Some of these come in. Now that's funny because it's. Hold on, let's turn half of this off and half this on. So for some reason you're getting flip normals here. So let's flip it. Auto group, maybe. Turn light boolean off. Auto group. Let's see if it is different groups. It is. Interesting. Take you. Flip. Take you. Flip. Take you. Does that look like the inside or the outside? They're the same. Boom. Flip. All right. Show all. Frame. Yeah, I think if you're doing it this way, the only thing you really have to worry about here, some of these things have flip normals. Right. So you have to come into your part, auto group it, hit, flip, hit that, flip. Really? Ah, goodness, show part. Now the one thing you're probably, I wonder if it welds these, because this thing didn't seem welded. Let's do a quick test here. Boom. New folder. Label your folders, it's really important. And now I'm going to split that to parts. See, it's not even letting me split the parts. Interesting. And look, it hid that inside from me again. Interesting. Don't have answers for that. So you're going to have to watch out for your split parts or your flip normals. See, something here is flipped too. I think your desktop auto group. Flip. No. Something funny is going on here. See, those are just kind of floating. Also, I would say that your pen is pretty out of scale. Right, these guys seem a little large if you compare it to the armrest of the chair. Something's going on with your table here. I don't know. Like, it looks like, yeah, I don't have an answer for that one. You know, I have triangles that are that big. I have a protractor that's that big. But if this is supposed to be a cell phone, flip. Nope. That kind of looks like that's supposed to be a cell phone. And then, let's get back to you. Okay. So you have your pencil, your pen, and a phone, I'm guessing. If you look at their scale compared to the chair, these are huge. Is that a tri-square? You know, if that's a tri-square, you know, that's like that big. So make sure your relative scale is relative. But other than that, everything's looking pretty good. Yeah. I think you have to be careful how you build your models if you're going to bring them in, because you can see there's some weird stuff here. But to be deadly honest, once it's here, you can just build that in ZBrush really quick. I mean, like, you can just rebuild that tabletop or whatever. You know, your floorboard is probably 5 inches wide. It just comes down to keeping your scale relative, you know. I think that's the only thing I see that's really oh, this isn't looking realistic, is your scales. Right, your pen and pencil stuff is a little thick. If this is a floor rail, that's a huge floor rail. You know, that should just be, you know, what, 1/2 inch max. Your curtains look fine. You know, just grabbing an applique and throwing that up there, that looks fine. No, I think you're okay. I just think that the only thing I could say is that, you know, because you're using realistic objects, it looks realistic, you know. I would probably, instead of trying to bring this all in as one model, I would save it out as, like, let's say the shelves, the room, the window, the accoutrement, the desk, the chair, and bring them in separately. And then that way you can have them pre-grouped and you can work on the things that are odd. You know, because anything coming in from CAD gets a little weird. So, but your scale on your utensils, I think, is the big thing. Because if you compare that to the chair, you know, it's completely out of scale. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, you know what? I mean, if it's a really tiny chair, maybe not. But your phone is like a quarter of your chair, of your seat. I mean, if that's like an extra small chair and you're like 5'3" and 97 pounds, that might be relative scale. But I think your chair should be a little bigger. Or the utensil's a little smaller. But, you know, I mean, the models are realistic models, so if you can render even halfway decent, it'll look realistic, you know. I'm a crappy renderer. You don't want to ask me rendering tips. We had someone else do the rendering stuff in ZBrush Jewelry Workshops because he's a really good renderer. Well, they're very good renders. Henry does renderings there too. Yeah, see, because look, you know, the carpet thickness is thicker than the wheels. I think making sure that everything is in scale is the only thing that I really see as an issue here. That probably wants to be a little thinner. That's a really big header. Unless your window's smaller. Yeah. Oh no, is that kind of the input you were looking for? Sorry,
They have a specific question that has to do with one of the materials.
Okay.
So they have a screenshot that they are uploading to the Dropbox.
Okay. Refresh.
I haven't seen it show up yet.
So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to run to the restroom. It's 2 a.m.
Good plan.
I gotta pee. I'll be right back. Take my ears out. Take your glove off. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Oh my God. Oh yeah, yeah. Howdy ho.
So the file is there, Cena room.png.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, are the colors realistic? I think that's the question. What problem in realistic color?
Actually, the colors look good. I think the problem is that there's no environment, or no environmentals. Like there's no. I mean, you know, if you were looking for a, let's say if this is, well, your little overhanging, or I can't remember what that little box is called. I'm having a 2 a.m. bad brain day. Just internal aesthetics. There's nothing else in the room that's that color brown. So I don't know if I would use that color brown. You know, I think that like this looks like, excuse me, it looks like it's a model sitting on top of a desk that has lighting on it, right? So there's no lighting effects, there's no environmentals, and that's what really gives mood. There's no depth of field. You know, it's just everything's in focus, everything's like you're not getting any shadow. Like this is just like universal lighting. So if you're just talking about the colors, right? I think the colors look good. I mean, you know, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. I think that brown's a little odd. Because like I said, you know, normally if you're going to have something like this, your floorboard, or you're going to match it with something, it's going to tie to something else in the room. You know, if you were, since you don't really have a colored floorboard, you have that. I might try to pull one of these wood colors out of the floor and make that tie to that. That at least gives you, you know, some referencing. I think that's the only color issue I have. Yeah, because see here, this is just a flat surface. So this was obviously in two shapes, right? Where'd it go? You built the table in two parts. And somehow or another, the normals got flipped on it, so that one part is negative. I'd bring that in two pieces, or somehow join it as one piece, and that'll resolve that issue, I think. No, I think, you know, once again, I think that, you know, normally, and I don't have a scale for the room, right? But I think this is sticking really far out. You know, because if you look at it, it's almost, yeah, it's not quite, but it's getting, it's more than a third of the table's width, right? You know, it's half the chair's width. You see what I'm saying? So I think you have, once again, some relative scale issues. If you're just talking about color, though, I think that the colors actually aren't horrible. It's just, I think that brown in the box, in the curtain box, this, I can't believe I can't think of what the name of the damn thing is. I just think these two colors really don't associate with anything in the room. So either, you know, this matches your floorboards, or you're pulling something out of the floor. Because normally you're not going to match something architectural with the carpet, since this is just a pull carpet. Because that could get spilled on, change, and now all of a sudden you have no color referencing. So I might try to, like I said, try to get it to pull from the floor. Does that help? Is that helpful at all?
Sounds good to me.
Sorry, I can't see the comments, guys. We've had a very not necessarily technical acumen.
We suck at this. We know. We're
Yeah,
sorry.
really. I know I am not good at this.
Started off really well though this time.
Kind of. I mean, actually, it started out like crap. We had to instantly reboot. Then
Well, okay, you're
it started, actually, it started out.
But we did have Restream Bot for a while.
We did. Restream Bot was there for a little while. I think I have to re-sign into it every time. It's not saving the things, maybe? Could that be it? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Was that helpful at all?
Yep. They said thank
Sure. Okay.
you. And I haven't seen any new questions come in, so I'm going to propose
That we end this
we
bad
call.
boy. All right. Kind and gentle folk, I truly appreciate you sticking through my... I don't know. Is there a word that is opposite of technical acumen? Unacumen?
artistic acumen.
Well, I have plenty of that. I just can't get my
Exactly.
Streamlab. I don't even know what it's called. I can't get my OBS to work. All right. So, thank you everyone for being here. Remember, next week we'll do crits until there aren't any crits, and then I'll just do Q&As. And I might sculpt on something. We'll see. Thank everyone at Pixologic for allowing me to continue to be an absolute disaster and stream. Visit us at ZBrush Jewelry Workshop. That's our education platform. Henry will probably post links to...
Twitch, not YouTube. Sorry, YouTube.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I think it's me.
ZBrushJewelryWorkshop.com.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I'm like, well, I know that.
No, you know that.
And then there's probably links to Facebook and Instagram, and join us out there. Join the Discord, and then that goes on basically 24/7 in a lot of ways. I'm sure there's a little downtime in there, but that's a pretty good community to get answers from, not just us, but some of the students and other stuff. Am I forgetting anything?
No. I think you got
All
it.
right. Once again, thank you, everybody. Truly appreciate it. And I will see you next Monday. All right. Now I have to figure out how to turn everything off. Okay. Let's.
You say that every single
Well, it's
time.
because it's always a chore. Okay, because it's always on the other screen. I got to push this button. Stop streaming. All right. Have a great one. See you Monday.